welcome to I'm Judging. This episode will be discussing what happened on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of this content. All right, guys, let's get into it. So in the first half, it's kind of boring, slow pickup. Apparently, Peter has beef with Wendy. Not really sure what it's about. Unfortunately, the girls are in subpar living conditions, is what it seems like. It really disappoints me when you look at the way the women at Housewives of Beverly Hills are treated in regards to, the extravagance and things of that nature. But when it comes to our predominantly black shows, we have to struggle for a bed, we have to struggle for a room, and we got to share bathrooms, and it feels very subpar and unequal. Neither here nor there. The girls show up at the restaurant. That's Peter's restaurant. Somebody brings up Candace and what time she's coming. Oh, Mia does. And then Wendy tells her what time. And then Ashley makes a comment about how the air is going to change once Candace arrives and how she's been having a chip on her shoulder. And Robin quickly gives her a reality check, and it's just like, hello, you all were talking about each other's husbands. As if to insinuate you both played a part in why she has a chip on her shoulder. And in so many words, Ashley is admitting that she was being vindictive. She's like, if holding a mirror to her face is being vindictive, then so be it. I feel like Ashley took way too much pleasure last episode in bringing the situation up about Chris at the burn dinner to Candace. And I'm glad Candace called her out immediately. So the witch hunt for Chris is real, y'all. It comes out that apparently he really didn't touch Ashley's friend's butt. Giselle just misheard it and regurgitated that on the bus. They're playing a very dangerous game, especially in the era or after the era of Me Too. So I do get what Candace is saying. Not saying that, that Chris is completely innocent and it could never possibly flirt or what have you, but don't add more to it than what you saw or heard. The whole situation with Charisse and Karen makes a good point. If we haven't spoken in 5 years and you invited me to lunch on camera, but never officially invited me to lunch, then yes, she has a reason to feel like something's up. But Charisse pointed out what I was thinking. She said she feels like Karen's afraid to meet with her or speak with her because she knows all of her secrets. And she said she does know all of Karen's secrets. I do believe Karen has secrets, but a secret is just that. It's not to be shared for public consumption on reality TV. I think everybody has secrets, and out of respect for their privacy, you shouldn't take what you know about someone personally and throw it out there without there being agreement to it being a storyline. I mean, because at the end of the day, guys, this is reality TV, but we know it's scripted entertainment to an extent. And so there's no need to fight below the belt, which I feel like Charisse may have done one too many times or went too low for Karen. We get to the part where Karen responds to Giselle. And pretty much she's saying, Karen, you and Charisse just need to get to a good place, which of course we all know is none of Giselle's business. A lot of stuff is none of Giselle's business, but she inserts herself. Either way, I feel like Giselle and Robin are tired of being in the middle because they're friends with both Charisse and Karen. And, it's just not a cohesive group when it comes to the four of them. But Karen says it's her birthday and she doesn't want the drama. And I'm with Karen. Listen, we are out of town. It's my birthday. I don't have time for this drama. You ladies live for drama, but it's my birthday, and that's priority. And whatever Sharice needs to discuss, that can happen back in Potomac. Okay? Like she said, it's been 5 years. Now is not an emergency for us to talk. So I also had a question in regards to Peter. Like, how was Peter mad at Wendy? Because it seemed to me that Wendy was very surprised to find out that they were going to eat at Peter's restaurant. It seemed like, if anything, she was taken aback. And maybe that's why she was taken aback, is because she knew more than we knew, of course, at the time while we were watching it, that she hadn't signed the paperwork that Peter had provided her. Even though eventually she showed that she had asked Peter a question and Peter never got back to her. So it seems like, again, a lot of drama over nothing. I feel like people are reaching at this point for storylines, but hey, I'm watching, so apparently it's working. I think it could have been cleared up if Peter knew Wendy had nothing to do with where Mia decided for everyone to eat. Wendy didn't even know she was coming. If she did, she probably would have alerted him that, hey, we're coming to eat at your restaurant. So then Mia goes to further explain to Wendy that she should have made Peter aware that she was coming to Miami. I have a question. How was Wendy supposed to know that Peter was going to be in Miami the same week she was going to be in Miami? I think that's very presumptuous of Mia to assume that Wendy has Peter on the forefront of her mind. Wendy is a mother of 3 and a wife, and she has several jobs that she's juggling. And granted, Mia and I respect all the jobs that she does, but she does have them. And if she's thinking she's just going on a girls' trip and it's Karen's birthday, I can easily see why Wendy wouldn't be like, oh, Peter's going to be there. Let me let him know so we can talk business. So where Mia was, to Mia's credit, though, I will say that Mia was speaking from a business perspective, but Wendy was speaking from a marital perspective, which Wendy seems to have a monogamous relationship, whereas Mia has explained in past episodes that she and her husband has invited additional parties into their marriage, as if they are swingers from time to time. So maybe the marital standard is different. And so Wendy was saying, you know, the only man that I'm thinking about telling where I am at all times is my husband. But the problem that Mia was pointing out earlier is that Wendy is not business-minded. And she's not as business-minded as she puts on to be, which is why I think we keep seeing her husband say to her, you're trying to do one too many things, and you cannot do these things. Because I think last year or last season, when it came to her candles, or maybe it was the year before that, she didn't even have a business plan, and her husband had to like kind of explain that to her, I believe, in the past, because he's a lawyer. But of course, this is not a crime that Wendy's not business-minded. She has a husband who's a lawyer who can point out all of the flaws that she may be dealing with. But either way, Wendy goes below the belt and brings in Mia and her husband's sex life. And that's when Mia snaps and throws a drink at Wendy. Giselle asks Karen, girl, how did you not get wet? To which Karen responded, girl, Jesus loves me. Honey, that tickled me. That's something I would say, and God knows God keeps me in a bubble. And this is why we all love Karen. The drink throwing was definitely uncalled for and ultra dramatic. You know, while Mia's trying to point out how dramatic your girl Sharice is, Mia herself has some theatrics up in her. I was glad to see Robin recorded, so there will be no he said, she said. However, I did think Robin should have kept her mouth quiet while she was trying to coach Wendy on how to stay quiet. It was just so ironic. Like, Robin, what? In the heat of the moment, you're trying to coach her on how to be quiet? Don't do that, Robin. So, now about this drink being thrown. Now, y'all know Wendy did say something slick about Mia's husband in reference to them swinging. I'm glad they showed the replay. The replay shows that she said that after the drink was thrown at her. But you know how they can edit. And we probably won't find out the truth until the reunion. Unless Robin decides to show us what she recorded. But either way, Mia was like, look at my nails, I'm leaving. But she was the one who threw the drink, meaning the glass or whatever force she used is what caused her nail to break. I don't feel like Wendy really did that to her. I feel like this comes from when people don't know how to cut with their words. They act out. And again, I'm not taking up for Wendy. I'm not taking up for, what's your girl name? Mia, because both of them were dead wrong in this situation. Mia was wrong for sticking her nose into something she ain't had no business sticking her nose into. Peter is a grown man. He can handle himself. Unless he told her, can you please handle this for me? But I doubt he did that. Again, in order for a storyline is what I'm seeing. Either way, Wendy has to know that her words cut. And it's not cool. She reminds me of a Chihuahua. Chihuahuas to me are not physically intimidating, but they will bite you and cause you to bleed with their little teeth. And so she tries to put on like, oh, these are just words. But girl, your words cut deep. And I hate to throw her in there because she's innocent in this event because she's not even present. But her and Candace, they know how to cut deep and they know what they're doing to get you emotionally riled up. I was with Robin and Giselle when they both pleaded for Mia to stay because it was Mia's party. It was her idea for everybody to come to Miami. So, no, you shouldn't leave. Anybody who feels uncomfortable, they can leave. And in fact, I think that would have been the classier thing to have done is to tell Wendy while she was talking all that smack, I do not want you staying in my rented house for the night. You need to leave. That would have been cleaner and classier. Remember when Monique kicked Giselle out of her home? Monique didn't attack Giselle. She just told her she needed to leave. And that was that. Now, Wendy ends the show by stating she's going back to the house because she's not here for Mia empathizers. She was referencing Giselle because at the time, Giselle was talking in code, kind of to protect Mia and not let Wendy know Mia's next steps. She was like, Wendy's going to figure out what she's going to do for the next couple of nights. She didn't outright say Mia's going to get a flight and she's trying to leave, which I commend Giselle on doing that to prevent Wendy from further gloating because she's all about Wendy. You saw that back and forth that she and Robin had. She's so classy and she's a professor and all of the... You would lead with love if that was the case. Tries to act like she's so classy and she's a professor and all. You wouldn't go around cutting people with their words and then being condescending to them because you feel like they're not on your level. It's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary way to be like, you're either on my side or you're not. Wendy calling Giselle a hypocrite. because she doesn't condone the violence of Monique and against Candace, but she's trying to infer that Giselle is condoning the violence that Mia portrayed against her. However, Giselle never said anything about Mia did the right thing. Giselle just didn't stick up for Wendy, which why would she? Because she and Giselle aren't friends. And Giselle made it clear where she stood with Wendy from the very beginning. Like, girl, you don't get no sympathy. You don't get to provoke people. And then when people snap back at you, now you're mad because they're not siding with you. I don't know. Again, Wendy was baiting once again by bringing up that old stuff from seasons ago about Monique and Candace. If there's one thing you can say about Giselle is that she's consistent about her stance on violence. Giselle is all about being the pretty girl who doesn't fight. And I'm not mad at it. She's just not into it. So I'm glad Giselle stayed quiet because, like they stated, Wendy will bait you. Oh, and one more thing about Mia's sister. Now, how do you feel about them airing out their family business on TV? Meaning, Mia was stating her grievances with her sister always wanting stuff or needing things and not appropriately packing for a trip, which, by the way, is my pet peeve too. Like, we're all grown women. We all knew where we were coming to. Please try to be prepared. Now, if you need a tampon or whatever and you weren't planning, it came unscheduled, I get it. But you can't possibly need everything. I'm not your mother. But anyway, so that was Mia's grievance. And then her sister is at the table when Mia's not there and states that she doesn't know if they would be friends as adults had they not grown up together because she feels like Mia can be too much. Now, she did say she said that to Mia's face. To me, because we know these women can be catty and take anything and use it against you, I don't know if that was a place and time to say that. Let me know your thoughts below. Guys, this concludes the wrap up for episode 7. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. It was a lot more of the same, but at the same time, it was very entertaining. I'll give it to them. Let me know what you think. All right, I'll catch you on the next episode.